So tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit. And for those of you who are in my May accountability group, this might be a little bit redundant, but we're going to talk about it because I also heard from other coaches that this is kind of been a theme for individuals, but basically our mindset around getting started with movement, or maybe mindset around, let's say, you've been in kind of a slump lately, or maybe you went on vacation and getting back from vacation, you kind of have a hard time getting back into your routine. And just kind of your expectations around that. A lot of the coaches says that they have some clients that are just kind of struggling with that right now. And I totally get it. Whenever we get out of our habits, and if we're out of it too long, trying to get back into it can feel pretty daunting. And we feel like we're starting over. And especially if you've been out for a couple of weeks and you get back into it, you feel exhausted, you feel winded, you feel like you've lost some strength or you've lost some of your cardio. And you just kind of feel like, again, having that starting over feeling. I'm sure some of you can relate to that, but I'm going to narrow it down a little bit to our expectations. I used this example earlier in my movement, or in my accountability group in Marco Polo. And so I'm going to tell you my experience last night, and then I'll convey that over to movement. So last night I started my habit of journaling, and some of you in this group are also doing it with me. I have not journaled in a long time. I used to have a really good rhythm. I would get up around 5:30 in the morning. My husband would have coffee ready and I would journal. It was perfect. My kids would still sleep. It was a great routine. That was like 2 years ago. Now my life is completely different, and journaling is better for me in the evening. And so I had this expectation, though, that it was going to be similar to my morning routine like 2 or 3 years ago, where I was going to have some quiet time. I could have 5 minutes to myself to get some journaling done. And I was going to be able to write down my thoughts for the day, blah, blah, blah. It did not work out that way. I had this expectation in my mind of how it was going to be and how I was going to feel after I did it. And it did not go as planned. Did I get my journaling done? Yes, because I knew it was something that I had to do, that I wanted to do, and I was going to do. But it ended up being a really quick jotting down of ideas, because I was on the phone for 2 hours with my grandma. Then my daughter wanted to have a talk about like how her day went at work that evening. And next thing I know, it's almost 10 o'clock. I'm exhausted. And it was either do it really, really fast or not do it at all. And I knew I would regret not doing it at all. So I just wrote down quick little words of how my day went, what I'm grateful for. And that was it. And I was a little bit disappointed, because I was like, that's not how I want it to go. That's not how I want it to feel. That's not what I expected. And I was a little bit frustrated with myself. But I had to remind myself that, you know what, I did it. I got it done. It was not pretty. It was not what I expected. But the fact that I started was, and it should have been, the expectation of just do it. It doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter how pretty it is. It doesn't matter if it's 1 minute or 5 minutes. The fact that you did it is a step in the right direction. It's 1% better than what I did yesterday or the day before. So switching that over to movement is kind of the same thing, where we might have these expectations of, I'm going to work out and I'm going to feel so much energy and I'm going to feel so much stronger, or I don't know, whatever your expectations are. Especially like if we have our mind wrapped around like weight loss and we work out for like a day or two and we're like expecting to see this expectation of the scale moving and it doesn't happen and we get really, really bummed. It can be frustrating. So it's almost like set your expectations to where it's you're just doing 1% better. It's not going to look pretty sometimes. It's not going to be maybe 30 minutes. Maybe it's only going to be 5 minutes. Maybe it's only going to be 10 minutes. You wanted to work out for 45 minutes and an emergency happened and you only got to work out for 10 minutes. The fact that you did something is better than nothing. So I just wanted to like just relay that to you guys, because sometimes we have expectations that we don't meet and we get really, really discouraged and it sets us back. So I'm curious, do you guys have expectations about yourself and how your performance now that you expect to meet and you keep missing those expectations and you get discouraged? And if you do, I'd love to chat with you about it, of like how we can kind of like change your mindset just a little bit around those expectations. Or maybe you can share about like maybe you've had something similar in the past to where you had to change your mindset so that way you could feel like you were being successful by changing up your expectations a little bit. So let's chat a little bit about that. Whoever wants to go first can unmute themselves. Hi, Isla.
I have big expectations on my sleep routine, and I keep disappointing myself.
So expectations like how? Like what are your expectations?
Getting, I would say, going upstairs at a reasonable time to wash my face, brush my teeth, kind of wind down, and get to sleep so that I can get up in the morning at a reasonable time and be productive. I'm not working right now, so like, the whole day is there for me, and there's plenty of things I need to get done. And I've gotten a lot better in the past at least month or so, in that I was in a pattern where I was staying up late, or not really going to bed. And I'm happily out of that pattern, but I'm still not necessarily getting upstairs at a good time. And a big struggle seems to be the actually feeling more tired in the morning. And today was a crazy example of, I get up, set an alarm, get up early enough to let this one out and feed her and the cat, because pretty much need to do that. She's been in all night. And then I would say that was probably at about 6:30 this morning. And then I laid back down and I was tired, and I fell asleep for a while, woke up, fell asleep for a while. And just then I haven't lost the whole day because there's still time to be productive, but I pretty much wasted the day. And so I figure that's kind of extreme to me to be able to sleep that much, but I figure if I could get myself in a better set of giving myself a regular amount of time to sleep, I can work through that. And it's hard to not be getting things done.
What is your current bedtime? Like what time do you go to bed?
I don't really have one, but I've been going upstairs really between like 9 and 10:30, which compared to staying up all night is really good.
Yeah, that's improvement. I mean, you have to look like, again, like find the 1%, like not staying up all night. Yes, it's not ideal. The fact that you're going to bed from, upstairs at least from 9:30 to 10 is a big improvement. Now, it is harder to get your body used to that. So you're upstairs and you're in bed, but then a lot of times you might find yourself just laying there because your body's not used to going to sleep at that time, right? So it takes time. And that's one thing, like you said, you have to have patience with your body. And you have these expectations, but maybe break down those expectations a little bit more. So break down your bedtime routine a little bit more. Like if you're wanting to get to bed earlier, what is earlier to you?
Right. I think I have in my head like 9 p.m. hits me as like the let her out for the last time, turn off the lights,
Right.
go upstairs, and then it would be really satisfying to wash my face, brush my teeth. And I had actually said on the movement group, the journaling, I've been wanting to journal for well over a month now or longer. And I figure like that would be my relaxing wind down thing, you know, before I go to bed. But I've taken my journal upstairs with me, or it should be, whether it's up there or not. And that's like, I need to do it before I go upstairs, because then I get, if I'm really tired, I'll just like, okay, I'm going to sleep, and I don't do it. So I think I've just discovered that I need to do that before I go upstairs. But having that relaxing, you know, like I said, the face, the brush of teeth, because I'm not doing very good with those things and I want to, and that will, you know, that's not high energy. And even like I have the Calm app, and I have things I want to use to ease me, you know, make getting to sleep good. So 9 o'clock seems to stick in my head.
Okay.
And just not doing it.
So I would pick one thing to introduce into your routine. That would be my suggestion. And it could be journaling. Since we're doing accountability for journaling this month, maybe it starts with journaling. Maybe you let your pup out, you journal, you both go upstairs to bed, and then you go to bed, right? And we do that for a bit. We just add in journaling. And then, okay, now you're in that routine. Okay, now we're going to add brushing teeth. So you let her out, you journal, you go upstairs, you brush your teeth, you go to bed. And you do that routine for a month. And then you add in face washing. Like it might have to be baby steps like that. And, you know, it's like you said, you have this expectation of what you want, and it sounds really good. Like, yeah, have this routine of brush your teeth, wash your face, relax, and get in bed and go to sleep. But sometimes we have to break it down even further. So, you know, pick one thing. Just pick one thing for the month of May that you want to really, really hone in at bedtime and start there. That'd be my suggestion.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything to add, or has anyone struggled with that, like bedtime routines? One thing too, like not sleeping well, and not feeling rested in the morning does have it doesn't make us feel good and want to work out. It really makes us it sucks up all our energy. So when it comes to work out, then we don't want to do it. I've totally been there. If anyone else has any suggestions for bedtime routines, please share.
So I'm Annette. This is actually my first time in the movement call. So I'm excited to learn new things, because I've been doing this Fitme program for like a year and I haven't really gotten anywhere. But anyways, I'm working with my coach Amy on the bedtime routine as well. And my issue is that I tend to waste a lot of time on Facebook and and other social media. So we set some goals that we actually put on the Fitme app as well. And then she has me add on I have an iPhone. So in the reminder app to remind myself at 9 o'clock to try to shut off the phone. Because I get, you know, I do, like I get on Facebook or I watched, you know, TV shows or whatever. And next thing you know, it's like 2 hours have gone by. I'm like, you know, why am I still awake? But I'm tired. And, you know, I have 4 kids. So the nighttime routines are crazy over here already. But I don't know if she needs to set reminders to do different things on the phone. I'm a visual person, so all about reminders. And obviously I don't follow them all the time. I try to. So I actually have a reminder at 9 o'clock, and then another reminder that goes off at 9:30. Like really shut it off, you know.
Right.
So that's something. And then she has me as well. So normally I tend to go to bed around 11:30. So she said every night I want you to try to go to bed 5 minutes earlier and see where you go with that. So it works. It works okay some nights. And other nights, you know, I get distracted by other things. But
I like that. I use reminders too, but then I find myself ignoring the reminders. So
I do that. It only works if you put the time and the effort to actually listen to the reminder and follow through with the reminder.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah. My husband and I would like a couple months ago got into a bad routine of the kids would go to bed and then we'd lay in bed. And then next thing you know, we're sitting in bed showing each other our Instagram reels. Hey, did you see this one? Hey, did you see this? Like an hour and a half goes later.
Those things suck you up.
And yeah. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's 10:30. And all we sat here and did for an hour and a half was share Instagram reels back and forth. Like, we cannot do this. This is not okay. So, I had to kind of lead in that one. And so otherwise he would just keep going. And so I would, as soon as I come in to the bedroom and I know it's bedtime, I plug in my phone and I flip it face down so I can't look at it. And that just is a visual to me of like, you're done for the night. Don't pick it back up. That is just kind of like, like you said, kind of a visual. That action of just putting it face down and putting it away is just an indicator of like, you're done. Don't pick it back up. And so when I do that and then I crawl into bed, it's also a signal to my husband of like, hey, now you have to put your phone down. So, and some people, you know, they don't use their phone as an alarm, so they can plug their phone in somewhere else in a different room, which forces them to like leave it and separate your bedtime from your phone. I mean, there's so many different techniques. You just really got to find what works for you. And again, it's having that expectation of being patient with yourself and not having like an expectation of like, it's going to work. This is going to work for me, because it may not work for you. You got to find what works for you, and that can take time. So, Annette, I love your ideas. And I'm glad it's working for you, at least, you know, some of the time. So
some of the time, yeah.
Anyone else have like expectations or put high expectations on themselves, whether it's with movement routines or anything else, any other routines that you have? Yeah, Linda, are you saying yeah?
Yeah, I don't know if we want to dig into this one. I do have higher expectations of myself for movement only because that's my past, but working with different, I can't even say injuries because I didn't really injure myself, just working with, I guess, an aging body where every day it's like, oh, now this hurts. So I'm always modifying, and I'm feeling like I'm doing less and less. And my expectation is that I would like to do more. So mentally, I have to remind myself, you know, this is what I can do today, and I need to be happy with that, because if I push it, I just continue the pain or injury.
Yeah.
It's frustrating though, because sometimes I just want to say, well, screw it. I'm just going to like an old car. I'm just going to drive this thing into the ground, right? Like I'm just going to go and do all the things I want to do anyway. But
yeah,
pain has a way of making me say, oops, can't do that.
I feel you. I have been, my body has been aching and hurting for like the past few months. And I know it's just lack of movement, like lack of mobility type of movement. So it's like my back always feels tight. My hips always feel tight. And now it's like going down into my feet, and like my Achilles tendons are starting to get tight. And it's like a chain reaction from like my back all the way down. And it really is like lack of mobility. I sit for work. I hit my 10,000 steps and I do movement, but if I'm not working on mobility, then I get stiff really, really fast. So I feel, yeah, I know yours is like completely different from mine, but your aches and your pains, but I'm kind of in the same ballpark as you. And it's like, I want to do more strength. I wanted to lift heavier. I want to go back and do like CrossFit type style workouts. And I can't, like, I could, but I know if I do, I am more susceptible right now to injury because of how tight my muscles are. And my mobility is not the greatest right now. And so I'm working at trying to be patient with my body and not having those expectations of hitting my max back squats and bench presses, whatever I used to do like 3 years ago, and being okay with having a lower number on my weight, like my bar and my dumbbells. It's frustrating. I think, Linda, you had that frustration last week of, having this expectation of, I'm trying to think of the verbiage you used. It wasn't more weight, real weight. I think you said, you have this expectation of lifting real weight. And I'm like, I can relate to that. But it's frustrating. And again, it's lowering those expectations just a little bit, saying, I'm going to work with my body and not push it and break it even further.
I think I'm so used to group exercise classes because that's really my jam. I like working out with people. I like having a certain place to be at a certain time. There's a start, there's a middle, there's a time frame. I can wrap my head around that. And there's a lot of accountability in that. So to go into my garage per se, like you need to do your mobility exercises. I just cannot seem to do that for myself, even though I know I need to do these specific movements for me. I would be so much more successful if I could go to a classroom where these other people needed to do those exercises or something similar, and then we could do them together.
Yeah.
That's just the way I've been. For years, I've always just been a class. I go and I take all the classes, right? And so like my coach, Amy, my coach is Amy as well as yours, Annette. We have the same coach. She reminds me, she's like, well, they're not doing the movements that your body specifically needs to do. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'll modify or I'll do this. And then she's like, yeah, but the tempo might be faster, or you might feel obligated to lift heavier, or you're looking around and you need to keep up. And she's right. Dang it. So it's hard. So I have to figure out how to do the exercises. I don't want to do them on myself. I just don't do them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and like you said, the accountability is there when you have a group. But at the same time, Amy is right. Like when you're in a group, you feel the need to push yourself further than you probably should. Like it just happens in a group setting.
I guess I could do like one-on-one. I could hire someone, but how boring is that? Here, you stand there and tell me what to do and watch me while I do it. Hey, it's going to piss me off because you're just standing there. I don't know. I'm going to figure it out.
You will. You'll figure it out. But it is one of those things where it's going to take a bit. Like it's going to take some work for you to figure out what's going to work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need some other 52-year-olds with low back issues, Martin's neuroma, bad knees, bad elbow, upper spine. Just kidding. Like list all the body
all
parts.
The things.
Yeah. Come work out with me because we need the same things.
Yeah. And mobility type of work is, what did they say? It's not the sexy work. It's not the fun work. It's it's boring. It's the boring work, but it's the boring work that is necessary sometimes. And so I feel, I don't like doing the boring work either. I'd rather I can work out by myself. Like I'm very much an introvert where I'm okay with working out by myself. I enjoy group classes too, but I can go to my gym and I can work out and I love it. But if you ask me to do mobility work, even as a personal trainer, I know it's good for me, but I don't like it. So I feel
I think you kind of hit it for me, Sam, also talking about mobility, because I'm in the same, I'm feeling like I'm walking, I'm on a streak of 10,000 steps a day, but actual mobility, bending over, squatting down, it's not feeling good.
Yeah.
And
Oh, you froze.
to-do list.
Now you're a robot.
Hello?
I think oh, there you are.
Okay. There's this weird spot right in my driveway that it does that. So yoga has been on my agenda and I just haven't done it.
Yeah.
And the more and more I feel this way, I'm like, I need to get that going, because it's not that it's the only thing, but I know that it will be huge. I think it'll do huge for me in the mobility.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just am not doing it.
Linda, do you like yoga? Can you do yoga, Linda? Or is that not like your thing?
I started doing that yoga with Adrienne challenge in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
You know, what's funny is that slow, deliberate, like stretchy, pulley type motions hurt more than faster, quicker, dancey type things.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here kind of brainstorming, and, you know, I could probably, what might be good is that if I did like a small group training. So like say it was one coach to 4 people, and then that person knows, okay, Sue's got this, Brenda has that, Linda has this. And then they kind of tell you, so you're together, but you're also getting individualized.
Yeah. Like movement.
Instruction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good
I don't
idea.
know. And then the person, whoever is the coach, plays some rockin' music.
I was gonna say, see, then you wouldn't get mad at the
yeah,
you wouldn't get mad at the trainer just standing there.
I don't know. There's money in here to be made, because we're all complaining about it. I mean, raise your hand. Who wants to do these boring exercises? No one. Even Coach Amy. She said she had to get down on the ground. She was forcing herself to do them. Like, why do we hate them so badly? What's the problem?
Like I said, it's the boring work. Nobody wants to sit and work on the boring stuff. Like, we want the high intensity, you know, dance movement, lift heavy things with rock music and party in the gym. Like, it's fun to us, you know, but the getting on the ground. But I think too, like, it reminds us how stiff we are. It reminds us how much like we can't move. And it's just that reminder, I think too, can sometimes weigh on us mentally.
I think like Linda said, like, she has a treadmill in her garage. She can go do that. And people do, like, you know, have a TV where that machine is and watch a show, or, you know, play whatever on their phone, but it's still getting you out there to do it. It's you on the treadmill. And I've had the same thing because I live alone, and doing the workouts that I need to do at home. Tabby's actually working on my next plan for me, and we're incorporating it with my walking, because I fell off the train making myself sit in my living room and do my workout by myself with my dog licking my face. So that of those things, like you said, Linda, it's, you know, you want to do it, you know, you need to do it, but it's boring.
I think you just have to find the carrot and dangle the carrot. Like, to get myself out the door to walk, I think I'm going to walk up to Save. What, you like that? She's giggling. I'm just having to play with this orange ball that's representing the carrot. I tell myself, if I go out and walk, I'm going to get a coffee at Starbucks, right? So that's the carrot, the motivation. Like, what is something delicious and yummy? Like, what can I do to get myself out the door? And it works. It's like a total good trick. Sometimes, you know, on the treadmill, if you have a good book or a good podcast, or if you'd like to listen to Brene Brown, or I don't know, whoever you like, but it's still the monotony of walking on a treadmill. So
Yeah.
there's just, you got to have the motivation. You have to want to do it. And it's just, you got to find what is it that's going to do it for you? I don't know.
At least what is it that's going to get you to take that first step? Like for you, it's coffee, for somebody else, it might be getting to watch like for me, if I had
Well,
a
Safeway
show
doesn't sell wine to go yet. So
you need to go to Texas. They have like drive-through daiquiris here.
well, man, I could get a Starbucks cup, and then I'm just kidding.
But yeah, just finding that thing that's going to help you make that first step and then just keep going. So
you, Brenda, you're just out there walking in the rain with your umbrella.
I know. Good for you.
This is my, of course, I just got home with Kaylee and I start this tiny little mist. And I'm like, okay, I can do mist. I don't know where you other gals are, but I'm in Washington and, this is what we do in spring. But because I had my crappy slow start to the day, I got to get my steps in. So I'm like, okay, when I get home with Kaylee, I'm going back out. And I actually stopped at my car to get the umbrella because now it's raining heavy mist, but I got to do it.
Good for you. You're on a roll. Awesome. Well, I know we ran over a little bit late, ladies, but thank you for hopping on and for the conversation. Hopefully it just kind of gave you something to ponder this week about expectations. So I hope you ladies have a great week, and I'll see you all on Marco Polo. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.